And right now, we are 2 minutes away from the end of the trading day. Romaine Bostick alongside Katie Greifeld taking you through to that closing bell with the global simulcast. It started. Massar and Tim Stenovec pop up. Welcome to our audiences across all of our Bloomberg platforms, television, radio, our partnership with YouTube here on what looks to be a record-setting day, at least for the S&P 500 and the Nasdaq 100.
It's just for you. It's a little gift to you now that you're back with us.
I already made that joke, Carol.
Yeah.
I love that it's a joke. Hey, what Nasdaq 100? What are we up 11 days now in a row? I mean, we continue to see momentum to the upside. Again, we know why, guys. It looks like, it feels like some calm, and looks like once again this war is progressing. But I got to tell you, we just talked with Brent Schutte over at Northwestern Mutual Wealth Management. People continue to remind us that there are still a lot of things to worry about, and he actually thinks market's getting a little ahead of itself.
Well, the low just at the end of March was around 63.49, Katie. It's up more than 10% in just that short period of time, less than a month. Mm-hmm. I guess the question is, is this durable? Is it short covering? Some of the reporting has indicated, earlier moves higher have been that. I don't know.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it remains to be seen to the question of sustainability. I will say that this feels like more than a relief rally at this point. I mean, we've clawed back our losses when it comes to the big indexes, and now we're just moving on higher, even though, to Carol's point, there are a lot of big questions out there that have yet to be answered.
Yeah, and particularly when we talk about where sentiment lies right now, I do just also want to draw your attention to the dollar, a weaker, at least against the basket for an 8th straight day here. So that gives you some sense. But of course, the yield story is going to be a big one here as those yields across the curve higher on the day. As for equities, I do want to start out with the S&P 500, 7,022 and change as we wait for these numbers to settle. But no matter where it settles, that is going to be a record high, up about 55 points or 0.8%. A record high for the Nasdaq Composite and the Nasdaq 100, each rising about 1.5 to 1.6% on the day. And the Russell 2000 also getting in on the action, up by about 0.3%. But I do just want to point out quickly, the Dow Jones Industrial Average, the Dow Transports, and the S&P 400 midcaps all finishing in the red here. And that dovetails back with the yield story that there are still some concerns out there with regards to the bottom line for some of those companies most closely associated with the economic cycle.
Well, Romaine, Katie's going to do this, and I'm going to just kick it off here, just digging deeper into the index. I mean, you look at the S&P, more names were actually lower today in the trade. 279, Katie, to the downside, 223 to the upside, one unchanged. So, yeah, it's not like investors were rushing out there to buy everything today.
But they were rushing out there to buy tech, which I think is very telling when you take a look at this rally right now. But you're right. You take a look at the sector composition. 4 sectors in the green, 7 in the red, led by tech to the upside, higher by about 2% as a sector. Consumer discretionary, communication services, financials also in the green. In terms of what didn't do too well today, materials down by about 1.3%, industrials, utility, healthcare, some of your biggest losers.
All right, guys, let's get to some of the individual gainers in today's session. I love this story. Tim and I were just talking about it. I think it's among our most read. Allbirds. I don't know if you guys bought them. We did in our home.
Yeah, I once had a pair of those. Whatever happened to those guys?
Well,
Everyone did.
Well,
Yeah.
apparently,
Whatever happened.
apparently they discovered AI.
Oh, cool.
Allbirds no longer all sneaks. Stock is soaring in today's session. Is that right?
It's soared. Yeah, we're close now.
582%.
That's like a typical daily move for a stock. I don't know why you're questioning that move, Cal.
Yeah, I know. All right. Nicely done.
That happens all the time.
The company inked a deal to sell off its footwear assets back in March. So now Allbirds is now all in on AI. The former shoemaker, just days away from ceasing operations. It's not been easy the last few years. Said it would pivot its business to AI compute infrastructure. The company executed a $50 million convertible financing facility, and so they're going to fund the switch as it targets becoming a fully integrated GPU as a service and AI native cloud solutions provider. And it's going to change the name.
Yeah.
Drum roll. New Bird AI.
Cool.
Okay, cool.
Are you in on it?
I like that they kept the
Well,
bird.
given
Me
the
too.
600% increase and that it now has a market cap of $148 million, no.
You're not all in
No.
on all
Well, we'll see where this
Bloomberg
goes.
AI.
I mean, it's
Yeah.
a bold move, Cotton. We'll have to see where it goes.
Can I just say it does remind me of simpler times, and I'm thinking specifically of the meme stock era, because this felt very memey. I felt like I was back in 2021, which was a weird time, but you saw a lot of stories like this.
Katie, we had a show back then
I know. They canceled that.
together. That's how long ago this was.
Was it called the Meme Stock Show?
Oh,
Kind
No.
of.
but we did a lot of meme stocks.
We certainly
I
did.
used to love that show.
Did you?
Aye.
All right.
Let's move.
All right, let's move along. Snap.
along.
Let's go to Snap, guys. That was also.
Why can't we reboot that? I mean, if they could bring back Scrubs, can't they bring back Crypto IR?
You know, Scrubs, the
Yeah.
Scrubs
This-
reboot was awesome, but it's
Yeah.
not in the
like-
offing for us.
like herding cats every day.
Sure thing. You got something
All right.
else, Carol? Or
Yeah,
can we move on?
I always have something
Okay,
else.
all right.
Okay, stock Snap up as much, almost 10% at its highs today, finishing the day with a gain of about 7.8%. This is what happens, I guess, when you lay off roughly 1,000 full-time employees, 16% of its global workforce, as part of an effort by the CEO, Evan Spiegel, to reduce costs and achieve profitability. Job cuts and pullback on hiring will reduce Snap's annualized cost base by more than $500 million by the second half of this year, according to the CEO. He said the cuts are necessary for Snap to
That's
boost.
like 3 Allbirds. Sorry, go ahead.
That's really funny.
Yeah, thank you.
Said the cuts are necessary for Snap to boost efficiency as it pursues profitable growth, citing improvements in AI technology that lets Snap employees move more quickly. And one more for you guys, because, 3 is what we're allowed to do. Hims and Hers Health. That one was up almost 14%. The telehealth firm climbing after HHS Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. said the FDA is seeking to remove 12 peptides from Category 2 restrictions. What's the matter? Is that a laugh?
no, just
No,
shocked
Tim
silence.
seemed very interested in this, but go ahead.
Well, he actually said I had to do it.
Yeah.
I actually was.
I don't know what the deal is with these peptides. Like, are they safe?
Well, apparently, with the action that they're doing is going to restore regulated access and will immediately begin shifting demand away from the black market, according to our secretary.
Okay.
Post on X.
All right.
You can read about it all on the Bloomberg.
I want to get to some of the stocks that were on the decline today. Live Nation in the news. This story breaking this afternoon. A New York federal jury found that Live Nation Entertainment illegally monopolized the live events industry and overcharged fans. Live Nation shares finishing down by 6.3%. The jury found that Live Nation's monopoly led concertgoers to overpay, and the company illegally tied the use of company-owned venues to its concert promotion services. Once again, shares fell in today's session by 6.3%. It's the lowest that they've been since November of 2025. Romaine, you're watching some earnings. I'll do more decliners, but I want to hear the earnings that you're watching.
Yeah, we got a trucking company, JB Hunt, now out with their earnings, and you see the initial knee-jerk reaction in the shares, basically flat. The company did beat on the bottom line, $1.49 EPS. The street was looking for $1.44. Revenue also slightly higher than estimates at about 3.06. We'll round it up to 3.1 billion. That's about a 5% jump a year over year. We should also point out, and it's an interesting nugget here in there, they talk about rents and purchase transportation. The expenses there actually did increase. That was up about 9% year over year. And this is going to be an interesting story with a lot of these trucking and logistics companies, particularly in light of some of the disruptions, Tim and Carol, that we've had with regards to the situation in the Middle East.
Well, speaking of the situation in the Middle East, a couple more stories that have to do with earnings and understanding the consumer and macroeconomic conditions. Starting with shares at ASML. Shares fell after the company gave a weak outlook for the current quarter despite raising that full-year sales forecast. The company sees net sales in the second quarter of 8.4 billion to 9 billion euros. The company expects net sales to be between 36 and 40 billion euro this year, increasing production to meet demand from tech firms for its advanced lithography machines. Still, it was seen as conservative. Shares down 2.4% on the day today. And finally, great ticker, DO US, BRP Inc. It's the parent company of Sea-Doo jet skis, Ski-Doo snowmobiles, Can-Am off-road vehicles. Down all day today by more than 35%. That's where it closed. The firm withdrew its financial outlook for the 2027 fiscal year. It says it faces $363 million cost from recent changes by the Trump administration to its tariffs. We actually also saw other companies move lower in sympathy today. Polaris shares actually fell as well. You have one of these side-by-sides, Romaine?
one of these side-by-sides.
Yeah, they're
No.
off-road.
No, they're kind of hard to keep in the New York City department. But it gets to this idea, though, too, of when we talk about the tariff threat, and particularly some of the comments we heard from the Treasury Secretary. One reason why you saw transports lower, one reason why you saw a lot of industrial stocks lower. Just real quickly, let's check in on yields before Carol gets antsy here. We did see pretty much a shift across the curve here, up about 2 basis points on the short end, but keep an eye on that long end. 3 basis points on your 10-year, 3 on the 30-year. And that is the big question mark going forward. Katie was referencing this earlier on the close, a preeminent program on Bloomberg Television, by the way, Carol and Tim. And this idea of that IMF report, and really a lot of concerns right now about current debt levels, the economic ripple effects, and what type of yield investors are going to demand to hold U.S. Treasuries.